Alright, hi. How are you doing this wonderful windy afternoon? Uh, yeah. Uh, in advance, I would like to apologize for my sniffly nose and stuff. I will do my best to not get that on the video for today's class. I have here our little project that we have with the girl kicking the ball that we left off on from last time. As you can see, there's no animation because all we did was just do the rough draft of the character. Now, whenever you do animations and whenever you can, always grab refs. So I got this ref here of Donald Duck. I want to take that off. And that's the control R. So, got Donald Duck kicking the ball, nice little soccer ball, and it's exactly how we can end it. We don't have to end it this exact way. I'm going to bring up some other refs that I have here. I don't know why it's kind of locking into place, but that's okay. I'm just going to bring this little bad boy down. And we got another ref like that. And bam, and it's locking back into place. I don't understand what's going on here. Why is it locking it into place? I think it's because I'm recording the video. Okay, yeah, you should, whenever you have these type of stuff, you should be able to move it around freely. But for now, I'm just gonna, I guess, stack them in here right now. So bam, now I got these two guys all lined up. So bam, bam. This is once again another ref. So as you can see, this will be the endpoint. This is how we want the character as an endpoint. This is how we would want the character as we approach the ball. And I'm going to grab another one of these guys and put them over here. And this right here is a very fine example of what's what I'm looking for. Reference. I apologize for that. So as we can see, this is exactly what we were working on beforehand. It's just this is more of a run. And because we're going to be kicking a soccer ball, we kind of want a running start. Well, it doesn't have to be a soccer ball. It could be any type of ball, but nice running start. So I'm going to pull out another one of these refs. And it's of a wonderful little athlete right here. Bam! She is about to kick the ball with her force. Look at the concentration, the head positioning, all that good stuff like that. This is what I look for in refs. I look for how can this benefit my pitcher. And a lot of times it's tempting to go off and choose like 100 references. If you don't need 100 references, don't go for 100 references. It just bogs down your mind with useless information. I mean, all information is good, but information overload is a heavy thing to consider. So once again, I brought this little guy up. This is from the book that I will make sure that you get as well. The animation book. I can't. Is that actually the title of it? Yeah, it's just called Animation. It's by one of the industry's best animators, and it's good to take key bits. You can even apply this to 2D. This 2D method to 3D animation. I will highly recommend if you have a chance look at Spider-Verse, and they use a lot of these techniques on the smoothing side. So right foot down in contact position, a little bounce, a little compression in the character. So this would be stretch, this would be squash right over here. So stretch, squash, stretch, 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 squash, stretch, 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 squash. So you can see this pattern forming already. And I personally like to do 7 because I like to skip one little beat, and that's just to make my characters look a little bit faster and or make them seem more powerful on one leg than another. So if you take out a frame, like say for example, the most useless one out of all of these would have to be either this one of these two. So I'll take out one of these two just to show, like, if I want to show the character is stronger on their right leg, I would take out an animation over here. So bam, it would just be 7. And that's why I personally like the 7. The fundamentals for 8 is it's just the characters more streamlined. And we can also change how fast they look based off of just moving the, what's what I'm looking for? The leg position a little bit further. So from here, it would be like not just the contact, but him literally, like his little foot is going to be trying to go down on that side. And this leg will be coming up a little bit faster, and this will be already slightly stretching out. So that's how you can make characters seem they're moving a little bit faster by moving the space around them. And I'm just going to pull up 2 more refs. We just got 2 more of these guys right here. So once again, if you don't need too many refs, you don't need too many refs. For me personally, I'm going to do this. I need these refs for one reason only. We want to know all angles of how we're going to approach this. And see how her whole entire body is slanted. Now, some of these pictures, they didn't have that slant. But now I see this in this picture, I'm able to now just know I could put a slight slant on it if we want to exaggerate certain features along those lines. And last but not least, this guy right here. So basic is just the same as the first one, but it actually shows in a little bit more of a fashion. And this is kind of how we're going to approach this for this project. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. So see these lines right here? They're all etchy lines. They're 1 or 2. You try to keep it fast. As you could, if we line it up with the other ones, here, I'll even do it real quick right now. So if I line this up with another one of these, so I'm going to take this guy and cut him. So bam, he's gone from that universe. Paste him in place. I'm even going to turn down the opacity over here. So see, I'm coming over here, turn down the opacity and line it up. See, his legs aren't matching up completely, right? So if we were to make a line towards it, the lines don't really have to match up perfectly. However, we just need to know that it's going that way. So his leg is way bigger on the one on this guy than it is on this guy. But you can see it's not too far off. So try to keep proportions as best as you can, but don't worry too much about it, especially in the roughing out stages. And that's how we're going to approach this. All right, so I'm going to undo all that, and I'm holding Control Alt Z to go back as far as I want. There is a limit. There is a limit. So if I go to right here, let's see, history. Where's my history at? Man, I've been using a different program. And where's my history? No, that's important right now. If I can remember where it's at. Taking too long. And no, let's see, purge histories. So if we want to make sure that we know where we're at, purge histories, and that will always let you know where you're at on that. Well, the best thing is always to just save it. Save. But once you save it and open up a project, the history is gone. So if we say we cut some things out, we save it, and then we go back or we close out the file, it automatically is just going to be like, your history is just dumped. Everything that you've done, dumped. So I'm going to put these guys right in here so I can refer back to them a little bit later, because it's not letting me move it too freely around right now. That's one of the major features of Photoshop. I don't know why it's not doing it for me. But okay, so let's get started. So this is our little ref that we kind of start off with, and we didn't have too much time to really polish this off or do anything about it in a really appeasing and aesthetic. So let's change that around. So we can still use this. So I'm going to turn down the opacity on this guy right here. All right, and now I'm fully using my pen, by the way. So earlier I was using the mouse to move around, navigate, but now I'm using the pen to make sure that I got control. So we're gonna make a new layer, all right, and I'm gonna put it into this guy. So see right next to it, you see the layers. Right after that is folders. So I'm gonna click, grab, drag down, and drop and it's gonna say group 1. You see this little arrow? It hides this. So anything inside this group is controlled mainly by this box right here, this folder. So whenever we grab this folder, we'll be moving all of the things inside of it, and it's gonna be nice and beautiful. I'm gonna call her Mimsy because I can. And that was the title of a movie that I saw recently. So bam. Now you can't really draw on the folder itself. So see how we have that little stop sign right there that's like, no, you can't do nothing, constantly updating. That's because we're on the folder. So if we go to the layer, we're able to draw all over it like we should. So I'm going to hit the E tool, erase that. And then I'm going to hit the B tool, B for brush. All right, so based off of all of our references, we can exaggerate the body way more than we did here, but I still want to keep that S shape. So here is going to be my new S shape. So bam, coming back like that. All right, and I'm going to erase this and then come back like that. So once again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We have some etched out lines, and this is just a guide. So this is going to be her recoil. So I can even tweak that just a little bit. Yeah, so get it to where we want it. And based off of what I remember seeing, so this we're going to be kicking with the right leg. The right leg is going to go straight up. We're going to exaggerate that just a little bit, or I am. You make this any way that you want. I'm just going to, bam, there's the shin, here's the thigh, here's going to be the torso, and I'm going to circle that off just so I could have a visual reference of the rest of her body, and I'm going to really tweak a lot of these features. So bam, leg, and I'm going to have her almost doing the can-can. And I'm going to drag her right arm out just a little bit, just so I can have a little bit of a feel like that she's trying to balance herself with the top half of her body. So bam, and I'm going to get her arm way out there. So like that. That way we don't have to focus on this. Now, bam, got a little foot in there. Now, once again, the anatomy on it is not the best, but this is just good for a starting point. Now, let's go back to our ref. Now, this is a nice and good one. This is basically what I was trying to emulate. So I got most of those down. The only thing is leg. And I'm not liking the way my character leg is showing off. So to make sure that I'm getting it right, I'm going to go to this guy right here, the one before. And then I'm going to go to this one right here, where it really emphasizes, So these two right here really emphasize that prop down. So at this point, this will be very close to the little squash section in the animation. So coming over here, and last but not least, the kick one. Where is my kick one? And I have, oh no, I didn't get the other kick one. All right, I could swear I did. But right here is where I was trying to emulate that, but we see that right there is her body swooping at an angle to cause that. So I'm going to basically take what I learned from this guy and these two wonderful people right here and their emphasis and their arm angles. So you see the one that's stabilizing is always like out. Whoops, clicked on the wrong one. And we have to break it down. So see how her arm is outwards, going in, going towards the ball, or her leg motion And the other one that's stabilizing, the one that's right here, I'm gonna do some John Madden stuff real quick, where I just bam, start drawing some lines, and see how bam compared to that, and how that goes outward. And you see, like, her whole entire motion is like this. That's her S shape. And you could say it in so many different ways, shapes, or form, but bam. So this is literally one of the best ways to learn is to just trace over it. So bam, downward, outward, and it's coming forward. All right, so I'm going to draw a little bit better arrows. So this is coming forward. This is already in place. So it's moving, bam, like that. All right. So let me get rid of these. So Control Alt Z Z Z Z Z Z Z. And let's go back to this wonderful little soccer player right here, and put down a couple of these bad boys, and we can see her S shape as well. Bam. And we can see it on the same side too. So see, we kind of, as humans, we need to stabilize constantly. And this is how we stabilize for soccer, or at least a kick. See, all of that is coming outwards. This is already facing that way. Got the S shape going. And we could clearly see the same features going on right here. And just to drive or beat a dead horse into the ground, was it this guy? Yeah, it was this guy. So once again, kicking leg. Got the kicking leg coming in. Okay, maybe the John Madden White is not doing too well right now, but bam. So we got the kicking leg, bam. Arm that is stabilizing outward to make sure that that's going in, and kicking arm in. So the side that the arm is when it's kicking is going to be in, and the one doing the kicking is going out. I probably said that wrong. So the one that is stabilizing is out. The one that is on the side of the kicker is coming in for a windup. And as we can see with Donald right here, bam, Shazam with his karate kick action. And it's going to end with a straight outward motion combined with a slight little bam. And we can even turn this around and bam, and then bam. So, and right here, the hand is going to just bam, curve. All right. So let's mimic that all the way through. Let's make sure we come through our checkpoints and that we're emulating that. So coming back over here, my bigger brush, let me turn that down. So hitting the little brackets. Remember where the brackets are, right next to the P and the enter sign, or the P and the backspace, depending on how your keyboard's set up. It's all different. But yeah, so once again we got her arm stabilizing. Her leg shouldn't be too outwards like that. There we go. Fix that. I'm gonna erase the rest of that because that's no longer needed. So hit the E button, hit the B button, and bam. And I'm gonna just do a little bit of a shortcut and kind of just marquee tool. So I'm hitting M. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna hit L for the lasso, just so I could get a better read on that. And I'm gonna hit the V button just so I can move this little guy downward. It's gonna make it a little bit fuzzy, but I don't know, it doesn't have to be perfect. At this point, just needs to follow the motions. All right, so now I'm back on the B button after we move that little guy into place. Now we have a kick motion. Now let's go for, and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to call it K for keyframe. And I'm going to put it as keyframe. Let's give it let's just call it key for now. and we're going to add in the numbers later. So I'm going to make a new layer. It's going to take a second. Or did I miss? I missed. So new layer. I'm going to put it underneath K. I'm going to rename this one K as well. Reason being, because it's also going to be a nice little keyframe. Now we're going to go back and reference our references. Well, we don't really have to go back, but so I'm going to take off their little rough draft over there, take that away, and I'm going to have this guy start off. So once again, I'm on this K right here, K that is not the same K of this guy. So you see, I click off this guy that's not blue, I'm not on that K. That K is on the top. So, and once again, since this is a video, if there's anything that confuses you or anything like that, you could just rewind it or fast forward. If you feel like I'm getting too boring and just not entertaining enough, you just fast forward to the good parts. Yeah, so coming back over here, so I'm gonna replicate that little S shape that we had going on right there. Once again, it doesn't have to be super perfect, but make sure we turn this down to a point where we're barely just seeing it. We just want to get a reference of what's going on and how we're going back at this. So I'm drawing a circle right here after I drew that little S line, and what I'm doing is coming in and I'm gonna build this girl up. So bam, come in, torso, coming out, and her arm is gonna be like right here. So this is gonna be her right arm. Right, it's coming in. It has that real drastic feel towards it. This is gonna be her left leg. So not the leg that she's kicking with, the leg that is going to be the kicking stabilizer. This leg is stabilizing, and I'm gonna just make that little leg apparent. Now I'm really not liking that, so I'm just gonna hold down the L, or just push the L button. Now hold it down, just push it, marquee around it, and then just move her up just a little bit. Just move that whole entire body up. I'm gonna hit M just as a fast way to just click into the area just to get that the masking off, and then hit B again, and bam. Simply just extend the leg. Now I want the right leg to be coming in for a nice juicy kick. Alright, so it doesn't have to be perfect for now, we just need that little keyframe. So bam, and I'm gonna have the head look down, and then I want the left arm all the way out there. So just wanted to have like a nice little, there we go. I like that little arch right there. So I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna just section that off so I know where the elbow is. I'm just gonna erase that, and remember, erase is the E. And I'm gonna make that smaller, and if you want to make something smaller really fast, you can hold Alt, and you can get this little gumdrop or eyedrop tool, and then you could click on a button. So you should have some buttons on your pen, and the topmost one, or the smaller button, you could just hold Alt and click and drag, and you're gonna see this red dot, and it makes the brush bigger or smaller, and that way you won't have to keep pushing that little button. You can literally just click and drag and make it left makes it bigger, right makes it smaller, and we see that little fade around it, this little fade right here. So when you go up, it increases the fade. When you go down, it makes the fade more harder. So it's more sharp, straight line. So here's the difference. I'm going to show you the difference real quick. All right, and I'm going to just just make sure there we go. Make sure I'm on the E, and once again, put the feather all the way up. And see how it kind of has that little blur right there, that little fade. I'm going to Control Z that, and then I'm going to drag it all the way down, and bam. See, no fade, just a straight cut line. Once again, bam. So going back to the B button, and going all the way down. So as you can see though, right here, her leg is not matching up with the ground. That's because we kind of missed that mark. But once again, don't worry about it too much. So I'm gonna hit the V button, hold down the shift. I'm just gonna drag it down, and it's gonna help me drag it straight down in a straight line. Beautiful, beautiful snipping tool. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup, not too much of a cleanup. I'm just gonna do a little bit of it. So I'm hitting the E button, and I'm just gonna erase some of these fragmentations. It doesn't have to be super clean. I just want it just needs to be clear. So bam. So I'm gonna erase some of that, and some of that. I'm gonna leave a little bit of line right there. I'm gonna leave a little bit of line right there. But bam. Oh, that's too big of a line, but I'm gonna deal with it anyway. Alright. Nice and sharp. So bring that down just a little bit. And I'm gonna redefine that waist, that little hip bone. So bam. And now we got like a little bit of cleanup going on. I'm just gonna fix her arms and legs. Now I'm gonna shade this side, that way we know it's on the far end. And that way we know this one's out in the front. So once again, this guy's gonna be in the front. Just about to do a little dance, make a little bam. Got that right in there. Alright, so we got 2 keyframes, right? We're gonna do a little bit of the in-betweens after we get most of the K's in there, right? So we got the kick and we got the about to kick. So kick, gonna blast this up. We got the kick, and we got the about to kick. Oh, whoops. About to kick right there. So K and K. Got 2 K's. Now, bam, I'm gonna add another one. Come down and add this guy on top, and then bring this down to a nice healthy amount. And I'm gonna do a nice little trick. So I'm gonna grab the folder. I'm grabbing the folder right here. I'm gonna make sure I'm on V, the move tool, which is up here. I'm gonna move all of these guys over here just a little bit, just so we could do a little start and go. So bam, and I'm gonna turn back on this. So see, he moved with it, and that means it just moved everybody. Yeah, so I just wanted to just make sure by just double checking that everybody got moved. If he didn't get moved, then there's something wrong. All right, so we got these guys doing their little thing, you know, kicking and about to kick. Now, we need contact, which will be the in-between here. But before we do contact, you know what, let's just do contact, just to really emphasize that little kick right there. So I'm going to drag this down to 19 and create an onion skin. And once again, an onion skin is basically 2 frames, or a frame that is open, or a layer that is open that we could see but barely, and it helps us to create like a light box effect where we can just trace and or imagine a tracing of it. So it's basically just for sizing and motion. So the beautiful thing about in between is if you did your keyframes right, everything else just falls into place. So what would be the next stage in between here? What will be her kicking the ball, right? So her legs should be straight right around here. So she should have a straight line like this. She should be kind of compressed, but she should be kicking off just a little bit. So we could bump up that just a little bit and have it shift over here. Once again, we don't have to be completely on the money with the anatomy on the rough draft. We just need to have it resemble a nice little motion. So I'm going to do it where she is just straight up kicking with the side of her foot, because that was like a lot of the pictures that we were watching and looking at, and I just want to replicate that little motion right there. Now, when they are kicking the ball, I know I didn't get a ref of that. It was kind of hard to find, but I did watch some slow-mo movies or slow-mo videos on that, and every time I tried to screen grab that, it slowed down the computer immensely. So unfortunately, I can't show it via this, but I would try to get it in a later moment and just paste it in here if I have the time. Bam. So I'm gonna make the head just a little bit bigger. The arm is out, and the stabilization should, now wait, hold on, this is not looking right to me, so I'm just gonna Z, move out a little bit, get some space, and then just delete that. Yeah, I was not liking the way that was shaping out. Too close to the project. Alright, so bam. Let's see, so straight leg, bam. Just gonna, there we go. So I'm gonna pretend that there's a ball right around here. I'm not gonna draw the ball yet because I want to draw the ball separate from what's what I'm looking for? From the character. Yeah. It's still a little bit hard for me to straight up concentrate and what's what I'm looking for? Talk when I'm on the computer because the computer is like just takes up so much information on the human mind that just So I'm gonna give her a nice little flare right here, and we know what, we are gonna create another keyframe. So this is gonna be another keyframe. So what I'm doing right here, I am stabilizing the character and actually trying to emphasize that kick and give it a nice little flare. So this is not gonna be in between. This is gonna be another keyframe. So bam. And have her have that motion where it's just all that power. So from here, just to explain what's going on, I'm gonna even darken this out just a little bit. You don't have to do this part if you know how your leg is turning out or what side is on what side, but I'm doing this to help clarify. So and I'm gonna even erase this part right here. Bam. So just have a clear shot all the way up. And the bottom side is going to be your foot. So, bam. Just going to square that off. Alright, so what is happening here? Well, let's turn these guys on. All of these guys on. Bam. You're all on. So what is happening? So I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to move over to the mouse real quick just to make it go a little bit faster. Alright, so we got this first frame right here where she is getting ready to kick. We got the kick happening and then her following through with that kick and just putting all of her energy into it. So it's going to start off as a nice little running start, little side kick that she just takes off into the distance of the world, and we can even have the ball fly over into the moon or something like that. But either way, I'm kind of digging how this is going. So let's continue on, and let's give this a K as well. And we're gonna finish. Let's see. So bam, bam. We got 3 keyframes right now, and we can start adding in betweens here. But you know what? Yeah, let's finish up this kick, and then we can even add like a little running motion afterwards. But the ball is gonna come in last. All right. So I'm going to turn on this guy and this guy. So obviously, since these are keyframes, you're going to need some eyes in between it. And the eyes are going to represent the in-betweens. And those are the non-keyframe layers. So I'm going to turn both of these down. Now I want one stronger than the other because I don't want them overlapping and I don't want to get them confused. So I double-clicked on both of them. I'm going to drop them down to like 13. I'm going to grab this one on the top and just bump them up just a little bit. So I'm at 20, 32. It's just me personally for my eyes to make sure I'm not, I could differentiate which is which. So bam. Now once again, in betweens are where we don't really have to make up a new motion. We're just following through. I mean, still technically making up a new motion, but it's following through. So we got this going on right here where we see this leg is going up to this leg where it's getting ready to kick. So I'm just going to fill that in between space and round out the leg. Once again, it doesn't have to be super perfect, but I'm just gonna have that drag in, so I want that motion where it's just like, okay, she's just about to turn her leg. So I want it to stick out just a little bit. And once we get this done, we should have enough time to do a little bit of a play with this. And what I mean play, I mean add some fun animation techniques that I personally like, such as what's what I'm looking for, smearing, blurs, and what's another one? Blurs, smearing, and I guess oh man, I know there's a third one, but mind blank right now. But yeah. So once again, just going in between. The hands are like the easiest, and the legs are the easiest. The body's kind of like in between. So I'm just gonna make sure that we, kind of have that motion going. Make sure the head's in between. You can add the neck, but you don't gotta really worry about the neck. And I'm gonna have, see how the arm kind of overlaps. I'm just gonna, for clarity, just get in between there, and bam. Actually, we can even prop that up just a little bit more, just to show it's going at a smoother space. So if we see how I try to get it in the middle, because it comes out as more of a smooth motion than if you start from right over here and then prop it up, it's gonna just automatically look like it kind of twitches a little bit. But yeah, so basically nice little in between right here. And once again, none of this needs to be perfect. It just needs to read right. Alright? It doesn't need to be like down to a millimeter or anything like that, or it has to exactly look like it. Because if you match up all these legs, the legs is gonna like move around a little bit. But that's just because it's the beginning stages and we don't have to really worry about that. So bam. So I got the eye right there, right? So we got our first little in between. I'm gonna pop these guys up. So get these guys at 100%, click off all of them, and we'll go one by one. So bam, bam, look at that, and then we're gonna go off into this guy. So I'm personally gonna prop these guys down next. So I'm gonna grab these two keyframes, drop them down to 20, grab another one, and drop it down just a little bit more, or I'm gonna go with the one with the most motion. I'm gonna drop it down to like 12. And bam. All right, so I'm going to click on new layer again. And it's going to be eye anyway, so name it eye. Now it's going to be another in between. We can even, to be honest, we can even name this a keyframe, but just for time purposes, I'm going to stick with eye. So let's see. Right here, a lot of the motion is happening. A lot of the action is happening. What we're going to get is this guy is going to start shooting up. So we're going to start looking at the placement of this hip and we're going to follow it. So right around this area right here is where this hip and this hip kind of has that meeting place. But why don't we put it over here? Some people may ask. Well, it's because I want to show the momentum picking up. So right, you want it to be like a fast little motion right there. So the hip is going to be right here. And at this point, the leg is almost so. This is kind of like at an angle. This is going to be where it's really gaining that. It's kind of repositioning into like a power kick. So the leg is already straight. So we can't rev it back. That was my fault. I was thinking of something else for a split second. But a little brain fart. But okay. So right there, bam, it's gonna be straight, and we're just gonna follow that little arch right there. So this little arch right here, we're gonna follow that, gonna line this up, and I want that leg to start to turn. So I want that foot to really be like this, and close that off. So close this off, erase this. So back to the E, go back to the B, and Bam. And then I'm gonna round out the leg, give it its meats. Bam. And I did not erase that, so I'm just gonna erase this. Oh, let me erase all of these guys right here. So erase this, erase that. That doesn't help me. That was bam. I'm even gonna erase this. That's more distracting than anything. But bam, and get this in right here. So bam. So we got the shin, we got the thigh, we got our starting point. We got a little base. So this is her waist right here. And at this point, it should be going down just a little bit. So when we finish this, we can drop her down all the way. So I'm going to do a little cheat shortcut. So instead of just drawing it as it drops down to fix the mistake that we did right here, I'm going to finish everything up. Actually, we can even just drop it down right now while we're bam. So drop that leg, that whole entire body down. Grab this guy, connect it to the ground. And the way I just dropped it, V tool. So V, and then bam. So bam, 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 and I can even extend the leg out just a little bit. So I'm gonna grab that leg. So I'm clicked on L, dragged around it. I'm gonna hit Control T. Now you see this guy right here, this little anchor, this little bullseye. This can move around, and this is technically the starting point of where it turns. So if I leave it right here, it's going to turn it from the center. So watch how it just rotates the leg off that little wheel right there, right? Now if I Control Z, put that back, I'm going to move it over here. Wherever I move that is where it's controlling. That's where it's going to rotate around. So I'm going to just prop that up just a little bit because I like the position of it. And then I'm just going to hit enter. Always hit enter to confirm, escape to cancel out. If I hit escape while I'm recording, it's going to end the recording. So I personally can't hit the escape button without it shutting down. So bam, that's my little video game condition, if you will. But bam, so I'm turning off this guy so I can see the arm a little bit more clearly and the stance, and her whole entire body is going to turn. So right around here is where her body is going to just start turning like a little beast. Bam. And from there, I'm going to prop that arm out just like that. I'm going to definitely have it come out. Actually, nope. That was my mistake. Control Z, Control Z, Control Alt Z, Control Alt Z, Control Alt Z. Just get it back. So I'm going to add that arm. It should be coming right out here. And bam. And then close that off. And then we're going to prop this head up just a little bit. And we're going to have like a slight swiping motion. So this left arm should be starting to prop up like right back here. So it's going to kind of come out like a horn. And bam. And that should smooth it all out. Now let's double check on everything. So hit the top K, hit the bottom K with a shift and click, bring the opacity up, and turn all these guys off. So turn them back on. So getting ready to kick, coming in for the kick, kick up, and kick into this guy. Now, because this one's such a drastic change, we're going to add another keyframe in between these guys. So this eye in this K is going to have another eye. And I am going to drop the opacity down again. And my most colorful one, or the most busiest one, is I'm going to drop down to the lowest. And bam, so I'm going to click in between there and, excuse me, add another frame. So bam, I'm just going to draw a nice little in between these guys, and once again, just find the in-between area. So literally go in between these two guys, find the waist over here, do it in the middle, and then bam, that's going to be your starting point. So got the thigh, and then let's get the leg going straight up, and we could even do this. Now, We can even add, you know what, let's add a little blur or smear. Some people call it smear, some people call it blur. I like smears to me are having two of the same things up at the same time. So having two legs up on one frame just to show motion, that's more of a smear to me. Some people call that a blur. I call that a smear. Um, and sometimes people call the smears blurs. I mean, not the smears, blurs smears. Where this is, they will consider this a smear. I personally think this is a blur, but potato potato, we know what we're doing. I'm pretty sure the technical term people use are very important, but right now, it is not to me. So bam, and I'm gonna drop the torso. So obviously your body's going down. You can't just can't just go up without something going down. On those lines, what must goes up must come down. So bam, and I'm gonna get her leg right here. So I want to show that she's actually going down in stature. Not stature. Yeah, it's still stature. Going down in her positioning down here, and we can even showcase because right here, this is basically her spine. And I want that arm to slightly be more out, so compared to that, but not as big as this. So I'm going to erase that, get it out just a little bit longer. Bam, and then I'm going to really prop this guy out, but not too big. So literally, I'm going to measure these guys up in my mind. So I see this one's longer, see this one's shorter. I'm going to get right in between the middle. I don't want this one to be taller than this one, and I want it to be shorter than this one. And doing the same over here. So her arm is clicking off this. You see her arm is like way over here. And in this one, clicking off this and adding this on, it's way over here. So putting them back together. So her arm is getting kind of overlapped by the other one. But right now her arm is on the frame beforehand is coming out this way. Her arm is coming out that way. I want the in between and I want this guy. There we go. This guy right here. Bam. And circle that off for the head. Because the head is basically one giant ball that's attached to the body. And make that forearm. And square that off for the hand. And we pretty much got most of the kick in. Now, I want to add a run start to it. Let's see. We got an hour left. Like more than that. Okay, no, this is good. This is a nice pace. And once again, you could if you feel like I'm moving too fast or too slow, you can rewind, stop. What's the word I'm looking for? Stop the time or I mean, there's ways. Scrub through the video. All that good stuff. So just to make sure we're in the right ballpark, I'm going to hit the Z button and I'm going to hold Alt and just, or you can just hold Alt and just mouse it. What's the wheel on the mouse? You can just scroll that up and down and it does the same thing as Z. But if you don't have a mouse and or that feature, hit Z and you can do the same thing by just clicking down. So I'm going to get it to, let's see, fit the screen. And I'm going to start animating these things. So from here, I am going to do something right here. So, wait, all right. So I don't want all these guys showing up on every single frame. Remember when we did that? So first off, get all these guys to 400%, so they won't look a little off when we touch up on them. So bam and shift. Okay, am I really gonna have to go through it? So we're gonna go through each one real quick. Progate, 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 and Progate. So coming down here, clicking off of all of these guys. So we're gonna go through each one. New frame, new frame. So going up, you're just gonna add new frame, new frame. Going down, kicking, I can even see her visibly getting shorter. Bam, kick, and emphasis on kick. Now, I'm not going to add a new frame after that, so that's 6 frames. Now we're going to hit, bam, bam. Now, mine should be running super slow because of, it is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's because I'm recording. So the video recording on mine, because we see it's at 0 frames, we're not supposed to see any type of delay. So for mine personally, it's gonna look a little like extremely slow. But just to double check if it's slow or not in the real world or when we export it. So I'm gonna file, save for web and devices, you know, that good jazz. I'm gonna come over here to the GIF section. Make sure it's GIF. It doesn't matter the colors or whatever, since it's only 1 color or 2 colors. I'm just gonna drop that down to 2 colors and let it save a lot of energy when it's exporting this. Now, what happened? Oh, it literally just took off everything. Okay, so let's bump it up to 4. You know what? I'm gonna go back to 16-bit. There you go, a little bit cleaner. Alright, so you see the more we go down, the less choices we have. So apparently they chose white as a color, and that's a color, and transparency. Yeah, this is all just 1 color. But it does count the tones that we have in our brushes. But still, we should see it a little bit cleaner over here. And it's still a little slow, but then I'm just gonna file, save as, and I'm gonna not come into this folder, and let's do another folder. Which one is it? Where did we put this again? Put it right here. All right, Kicking Girl. So I'm gonna just save it right here, and as long as you know where you're looking for, go back to that, and let's see. So I'm gonna checking it right now, and mine should be super fast. So it's like almost a blink of an eye. She's just gonna kick that ball. In 3, 2, 1, kick, bam. All right. So she is kicking the ball. So that is the kick of the ball. But now we just need the ball, right? So we could do this little cheat code right here. So I'm back into Photoshop. As you can see, I'm moving things around or clicking things off and on. But bam, bam. Let me click off of it. Just bam. Now, let's see. So got the girl right there. We're gonna click on a new layer. We got layer 2 right here. And I'm gonna put it into this group, and I'm gonna call it ball. All right, so we got our ball, and we could make our ball whatever shape we want. Just for time purposes, I'm gonna hit the O button, not the O button, I apologize, the U button, which should be able to allow us to draw a nice little circle. And I want it to be so different from her blue that we could completely tell, and even when it overlaps. So I'm gonna have that orange right there, and from there I'm gonna, so basically I just came into here, just changed the color, and I'm gonna hold shift, because if I this is without the shift. So as you can see, we can make any type of circular shape. So any type of oval, any onion. We can even make a donut by putting another one inside of it or taking it out. But right now, this is allowing me to make any type of circular shape that I want. But I want it to be a soccer ball. So I'm going to hold shift, and then I'm going to let go. And that allows me to, or allows the program to make a nice little shape of a ball. Any type of sphere or circle. And it's going to be uniform. It's going to be a perfectly good, nice circle. So I'm going to put this ball right here, and I'm going to show you a little cheat code. So it's because we got this ball right here. I'm going to even, so I'm on V. I'm just going to move him down just a little bit by just getting that to match the ground. And if you want to make like go slowly and not really just click and drag, you can just use the arrow keys on the keyboard, but just make sure you're in move. So either up here or you hit the V button, you'll be allowed to move around. So we got our ball right here, and if we look through all of it, the ball is in every single frame. All right, and that is good for our purposes at the moment, and that's only because of Prograde Frame 1. If we had this turned off originally, we would be able to make sure it's not on every single frame. But since it's already there, we're just going to turn that off and bam, allow this to happen. So we want it to stay in place for frame 1 and frame 2. Frame 3, we want a little bit of motion. So I'm just going to take the V button and our move tool, click, and I'm going to just drag this guy up just a little bit. So I want it barely touching the foot, and I want it to be raised just a little bit. Just get that momentum going. And then for frame 4, I want the ball to be a little bit up here. So she kind of kicked it, a little bit of a drag, and bam. So we're going to stop it right there, and then from here, we're going to continue on this path. Right? Bam, and last but not least, out of view. Now we could change this up as we want a little bit later, but just for now purposes, let's go bum, bum. Now, once again, for me, it's going to show very, very slow, so just make sure it's coming out right for me, and or if it's coming out slow for you, you can always double check it by going to File, Save As, save for web and devices, make sure it's GIF, that way it saves energy or memory space, and it's not a big giant file. And save, I'm gonna give it, yeah, you can save over it. It's the same animation, so I'm just gonna save over it. If you want to have each one individual, you can. So checking that out right now as we speak, and it's bam and bam. So she is now kicking the ball with extreme force. It's going up into the air. It feels magical. It feels like everything's right, except for the ball is just a stiff object. It doesn't feel like a soccer ball at all. There's no squash and stretch on it. It just doesn't seem right 100% of the way through. So what I'm going to do is come over here, and when it starts getting to these areas, we're going to start fixing up this ball. Now, the ball as it is technically a giant, so this layer right here, this shape layer, that as you can see, that's what the U tool makes, it makes a shape. We got this ball, and it's a perfectly round thing because it's a vector. And when we draw with the brush, we're making pixels. And the difference between pixels and vectors are pixels, as you can see, if we make it bigger or if we get really small, we can see all these like little tiny lines and all these little dots and whatnot. This is what our picture is made up of, and these are pixels. Each and every one of these little dots is pixels. So it's little tiny TV screens that display one picture, and then when you zoom out, it's just one giant image. Right, so it's technically one of those crazy paintings. But if we zoom in on here, we're still going to see those pixels, but we see this line is very straight because a computer program is coming to it and saying, no matter what happens, this line needs to be as straight as possible. So you see that little feathering around it? That's all calculated to give it the most authentic experience. So if we try to move this around, we're not going to get too much of a thing, but we can come over to this area. So over here, this is where the mask is, right? This is the mask layer. So this is the actual color of the whole entire image that we're masking off. I'm going to zoom out, and what we can do is come over here to this and make sure it's highlighted. So see how this is. All right, so if I click off of it, click onto it, see how it's not highlighted over here, this little black line, and if I click onto it, you're gonna see this little white little frame box, and it allows us to know that we are now working with this guy. And since we're working with this guy, we see his outline. Now we can see that straight line that's the computer program is looking at. So this is what allows the program to really make our circle a circle. It has a visible line that we really don't see unless we click on it. And I'm going to hit the V tool, and I'm going to control click on it, and now we get to see these little points right here. So you see these little dots, these are all of what it's making up. So it's just saying checkpoint, move over here, checkpoint, move over here, checkpoint, move over here, checkpoint, and move over here. And this is going to be our circle. All right, so if I remember correctly, wait, hold on, let me, because different programs do different things. So let me move this, let me do something drastic real quick. So bam. Yeah, it does it on each and every one. So to make sure that we get an individual, so to make sure our ball is completely individual, and remember, every program is different. So if you're using another program, like I like to use Manga Studio as well, it allows you to control it, and it only affects that one thing on that frame. But for Photoshop, you would have to, if you want to change up that shape, I would say duplicate it. So create shape copy. So it's technically now another ball. And this is going to be, I'm going to just name this keyframe ball. So just key. So key. And, whoops, wrong button. And this one's going to be another key, but I'm not going to worry about naming it for now. So bam, I'm turning this guy off. And now I'm going to alter its shape. So I'm going to come over here, hit the V button, Control Alt, and it should give us this little outline, and we could change this outline as we see fit. So now I'm going to bam, bring this in here, and bam, just drag this over. So I'm still holding the control button when I'm doing these. So I'm going to Control Alt Z, and bam. So once again, I'm holding, because if you don't hold control, you're going to just drag your whole entire circle with you. And that's not what we want. We want control of that little individual right there. And then bam, control, bam, control. Oops, wrong layer. And be careful with Control Z too. Sometimes when you hit Control Z a couple times, make sure it doesn't change up your layer. And that happens a lot. But so bam, make sure you're on the right layer. And I'm going to give it a little bit of deflation. I want that image of the ball to be distorted just a little bit, because we wanted to show that it's moving in space, in time. So bam, a little squash and stretch right there where she gave the ball a nice little forceful kick. I'm going to hit the Z button. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and we can make tweaks as we go about it, but for now, let's leave it like that. I may even rotate it upwards, but let's just double check this. So bam, we're going to turn this off here. We're going to turn this off here. And then we're going to allow this guy to exist. And since it's in the same place, we can start popping it up. So actually, let's see. Get back to its normal position. And I'm not, you know what? I think that's way too much force. I'm over exaggerating this. So I'm going to drag, control, click and drag, and I'm going to control, click and drag right around here, and bam. So a little bit too much force. I'm holding, see these little dots right here on the side, not the little points. If you hold Alt, hold on, my bad. If you it's still Control, different programs. So I'm going to just get this guy to connect right here, and if you click on this little guy, see how it rotates him, like it kind of turns that little point. And that allows you to do extreme things. So we can even extend this out where it's just like bam, like that. But it's a ball, so we want that one contact point to just be an indent in the circle. So bam, I'm gonna grab this guy right here, and then indent that, and just I want this to kind of be the same, just a little bit of deflation right there. And it's gonna show up on all the rest of these guys, and I don't want that. So bam, and then I want this guy right here. So duplicate layer and drag them up, and while we drag them up, we will distort him just a little bit. So same thing we did to the other ball. So just control click on that little line to bring up our points, and we're just gonna drag this guy right here. So we're just moving this guy around just like that. Like the ball is just shooting off into space, and we can just move this up just a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect right now, it just has to kind of make sense. So to make it more even, I'm just going to get them both on opposite ends of each other. And then I'm going to control that and then control that just ever so slightly. So kind of just get it all, I think it's parallel towards each other. Parallel. The wind is kicking up outside. I can hear it. So if you're out there in the wind, please be safe. Please be careful. And definitely watch out. So I'm going to come over here, and I see that this was turned on, even though Prograde was turned off. If you're having this problem too, yeah, let me know. But we shouldn't be having this problem. So I just clicked here, shift clicked, and I just turned off that layer just to get it off of each and every one. I already know this is layer 4, so I'm going to turn that back on layer 4. And then we could finish this off with the ball about to leave, and then we could just really hammer that in where it just goes into space. So duplicate layer, and I'm going to drag this all the way to the top. Come over here to 1, shift click on 6, take off that, come back to 5, take off this guy, put this guy back on, and then make sure I'm in this little section in the white frame, and bam. And before I do that, I'm just gonna rotate, so Control T, and we should get this little transform box. I'm gonna grab this and just rotate this. I'm gonna match this up to this section just so I could have a little ease when I do this. So bam, and I'm going to control click on here, and I'm going to control shift click on this guy right here. It's going to allow me to drag both these dots at the same time. And look at that, bam. And we can even make these guys smaller. So I'm going to control T, and then I'm going to shift and alt click on any outside box, and it's going to help me drag this guy in. Whoops, I grabbed something else I wasn't supposed to grab, so I can't hit escape. I have to hit enter, or it would end up a program. End the recording. So I don't want that to happen. Not yet. So I'm gonna. Oh, okay. What's going on here, buddy? All right. So make sure I'm on this layer. Control. Make sure I'm on V. Move tool. Click on the line. Grab this guy. Just drag this in just a little bit. Just click and drag this guy in a little bit. And then bam. So go on to the next one. And since it's kind of off screen already, I'm going to just give this a nice little play. And already feels a little bit more lively. Once again, my thing should be coming up very choppy. If you're looking at it on the video end, it should feel like slow motion. Yours own should be going a little bit faster if you have the 0 seconds off. So I'm going to save for web. And maybe export that as a GIF again. And what I'm going to do is just check on how the ball is squashing and stretching. So remember the very first animation that we have created, it's literally that we are recreating right here. So bam, I'm going to save over. Do you want to replace? Yes, I do. And remember, if you replace image or any type of file while it's open, it may cause problems later on, such as just horrible corruption in files, and just do your best not to do that. And bam, I'm looking at the animation right now. It's looking a lot cleaner. The ball is feeling a little bit more ball-like. It could be a little touch-ups here and there, but let's move on to what's what I'm looking for. Let's see. How much more time do we have? We have plenty of time. Let's see. So we could even do a run and start where she comes in like those other pictures that we saw where they just, you could tell that they're just like coming in strong. Or we could add a little bit of hair and those extra stuff towards the soccer player. We get her more matching the characters that we see on those things. Let's see. What will be you know, let's stick with the lesson plan that I previously played out, and let's get a run and start. That way you can have that information inside your mind, and you know what I'm saying, just let that in there. I'm actually gonna stop the recording right here for a brief second, and I'll be right back with the rest of it. So this is part one, and I'll upload part two right after part one. Okay.